Welcome back to Sports Sunday. The commercials have gotten to be almost as important on Super Bowl Sunday as the game itself. Virginia Kerr and John Nicely are back now to break down the game between the advertisers. Guys?
Yes, and we have an expert here, Mark Schupp of the Schupp Company, which is based here right in St. Louis. Thanks for coming.
You bet.
And we're basically wanting to know what you thought was the best and the ones that maybe didn't really achieve what they were supposed to.
Well, it's hard to say what the best is. Tomorrow morning at about 5 a.m., USA Today will come out with their poll, the top 10 commercials, probably all the way down to the top 20. But I'm fairly confident Doritos will be in there, Bud Light will be in there, Budweiser, Snickers, and E-Trade will probably comprise the majority of the top 10 spots.
In an overall assessment, I know you weren't necessarily overjoyed or just thrilled with all these commercials, right?
Well, I think there were no instant classics. Like you think back to the Apple or the Macintosh commercial from 1984, the Mean Joe Green spot. You had none of those, but you had some really good, solid advertising campaigns. You had Anheuser-Busch. You had Doritos, you had Career Builders. These guys all very effectively use the internet to drive their consumers to the internet to find out more about their products even before the Super Bowl commercials aired.
Well, Budweiser or Anheuser-Busch spent money on 5 minutes worth of commercials.
5 minutes.
Let's check out one of those right now.
Bet.
To my new abode. This is awesome. Wow.
Who knew you were so environmentally responsible?
Yeah. Enviro what?
Your house made of empty Bud Light cans.
Oh, they're not empty. Oh, here we go. Yeah! There's Bud Light in the fridge made of Bud Light.
It's the sure sign of a good time. Just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Oh, look, a window. Sorry, honey.
All right, Bud
like
Light,
that.
a staple, obviously, of Super Bowl commercials. What's your assessment of that ad right there?
Well, that's a new campaign for Bud Light. They've been focusing on drinkability for the past several months. This is a brand new campaign. The tagline is, "Here we go." The tagline's a little generic, but I think the campaign is a great campaign. It's a much more improved campaign over the old drinkability campaign. I'm very happy with it.
How important are those? Because, to be honest, you know, whether you like Bud Light or not, hearing that it's drinkable or here we go, does that really make an impact on viewers when they see or hear those taglines?
Not the tagline per se, but I think that the imagery of the spot and the people that they show drinking the beer and just the humor has a big impact on drinkers. Okay?
Let's talk about, let's talk about the Clydesdales, because obviously they were not supposed to be in the run, and then...
The viewers demanded it.
Yes.
Yes. Well, that was a controversy, or they made it into a controversy. They had supposedly no Clydesdale spot supposed to be airing, but they, I think it was a PR stunt, but they said, the consumers asked and, sent an email saying, please get the Clydesdales on.
And here it is right now, in case you missed it.
Yes.
Nothing comes between friends, especially fences.
I think that was as good of a Clydesdale spot as I've seen.
Really?
I think it was a great spot. The question Anheuser-Busch has to ask themselves is that selling beer? Do the Clydesdales sell beer, and does putting Clydesdales in this type of spot sell beer? But it's a good feel-good spot, and I think it was very well done.
So do you think they market those toward women, and then the other ones like the Bud Light House toward men?
Well, they probably shouldn't, because the primary drinking age for a beer is 21 to 27 or 21 to 34. So women is a secondary audience, still important, but they really need to focus on men, but I think it does have a great appeal to women as well.
And one of the producers before the show was asking if it means anything that they held on to that Clydesdale spot until later in the game, because usually they kind of come out with their best stuff at the beginning.
This came in the second half.
Yeah, typically so. I think this is in the fourth quarter. You never know what's going to happen in the game. If it's a close game, you're going to lose viewers, so you usually put your best spots up front, what you deem to be best. Anheuser-Busch does a lot of research, and that spot probably didn't test as well as the other spots up front, so that's why it ran towards the end of the game.
So Anheuser-Busch may have created their own buzz with that PR stunt, as you called it.
Right,
but the
right.
one commercial that certainly drew a lot of buzz was the Tim Tebow ad. We want to check this out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I call him my miracle baby. He almost didn't make it into this world. I can remember so many times when I almost lost him. It was so hard. Well, he's all grown up now, and I still worry about his health. You know, with all our family's been through, we have to be tough. Timmy, we're trying to tell our story here.
Sorry about that, Mom. You still worry about me, Mom?
Well, yeah, you're not nearly as tough as I am.
So there you go. And you pointed out that that ad actually aired in a different capacity before the game, and then the actual tackling of Tim Tebow's mom came during the Super Bowl.
Yes, the client was focused on the family, and it was very controversial because this was basically an anti-abortion ad. They really didn't. They did it very tastefully, but it was very controversial because CBS a couple of years ago stayed away from advocacy commercials. This was an advocacy commercial, and they accepted it. But it was tastefully done, and they did a great job of driving people to the website. In fact, in the month of December, they did a poll and rated the number of people that were watching and paying attention to various Super Bowl activity, and that had the majority of the buzz for all Super Bowl commercials during the month of December.
Now, maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear any of the storyline about her being sick when she was pregnant, and she
just talked about when she had him and almost lost him. That was what she said in the commercial.
But it seems like there was a lot more information leaked out before the ad actually came out, and it didn't seem to be exactly what we were told it was going to be.
No, but they did a great job, and they drove people to the site, and then on the site you got more information. So in that regard, they did an excellent job. It was a great campaign that they executed superbly.
Doritos had a couple funny commercials. We want to check out one of them right here.
Hi. Aw, thank you. Have a seat. Kyle, Jalen. Jalen, Kyle. Jalen, you play nice. I'll be right back.
What's going on, little man? I see you got your game skills down, Pack. You might have your hands full once I'll pick up the controller, though.
Put it back. Keep your hands on my mama. Keep your hands on my Doritos.
Jalen, are you playing nice?
I love the slap. It came out of nowhere.
I'm going to say it's probably the #1 or #2 commercial according to USA Today. It's a very funny spot. That commercial and all the Dorito spots were produced by consumers. They wrote the spots, they produced them, and I think, as last year, these were some of the best commercials during the Super Bowl.
That's very interesting that the producer, the consumer produced commercials, because these companies spend so much money. We're talking about how much money goes into these commercials, and what was it this year?
Well, you're spending, the average Super Bowl commercial is $2.7 million. It started off at $3 million because of the economy. They had to drop it down a little bit, so it averaged at 2.7. Then you add on top of that the cost to produce the commercial, and that could be as much as $2 million. The average spot's probably $300,000 to $500,000. So it's like $3.2 million per 30-second commercial, which averages out to like almost $100,000 per second.
Wow. Is it worth that? Is it really worth that much money to have your product in the Super Bowl?
If you are only advertising the Super Bowl and that's all you do, no, because you're paying a 100% premium on a cost per point basis, which is this is how we measure these things. But if you add a lot of top spin to it, if you engage the consumers online, if you drive the sociability in terms of Facebook and Twitter and all these other social types of media, then it's worth it because you're getting a lot more exposure for your product.
So Doritos had some of the best, and we want to go to your favorite right now. Check out this.
This is my favorite. This got the biggest chuckle out of me.
This is the worst Super Bowl party ever.
Now, Dave, be nice.
Oh, he's just saying that because I'm here.
Oh, he's just saying that because I'm here.
Now, that was a shocker.
Yeah, well, here you have CBS, and then you have Jay Leno from NBC, and the whole controversy with the late night wars, and they're all together. And
well, and they've been ripping each other apart on their shows.
Yes.
I mean, Letterman has not been saying very nice things about Leno.
He has not. That's what made it so funny.
And my gut reaction was, well, why would Jay Leno agree to go on CBS to help promote David Letterman on CBS? But you quickly pointed out this helps out Jay Leno, too.
Oh, absolutely. He's getting exposure for himself and his show.
Would NBC, do you think, would NBC have any hesitancy, or would they see it that way, that this is going to expose Jay Leno's show even though we're not paying for this ad.
Well, if I'm NBC, I'm saying, well, I'm getting exposure on CBS. Are you kidding? Of course we'll take that.
Sure.
Yeah, any day of the week.
No kidding.
And there was an ad similar a couple years ago, maybe it was last year.
Oprah and David
Oprah and Dave.
Yeah. Yes. So,
Oprah and Dave at the time, they were having a little rip.
So
going
it's
back
very
and forth,
similar.
So
That's
very
right.
similar. And that was one of my favorite ads as well. That will not appear in the USA Today top 10 list because it's a CBS more internal spot. So you won't see that.
But your favorite.
It's my favorite. But
and E-Trade, you like the E-Trade spot.
the E-Trade spots with the babies, you can't beat babies.
Let's watch that too.
So yeah, sorry about last night.
I just don't understand why you didn't call.
Yeah, well, I was on E-Trade, you know, diversifying my portfolio, taking control like a wolf.
Right.
What's that? That's volatility in the market. Taken care of, wolf style. Oh, oh, oh.
And that milkaholic Lindsay wasn't over?
Lindsay?
Milka what?
Build a diversified portfolio at E-Trade.
I like that. I had not seen that.
E-Trade, too, did a great job before the Super Bowl driving people to the website. You can't just look at the USA Today poll. That measures likability. You also have to look at memorability. Are people going to remember it 2 weeks down the road? Is there linkage to your brand? Are they going to know what brand it's for? And then are people being driven to the website? Are you getting top spin? Are you engaging the consumers besides just the likability of a commercial?
Well, and it's pretty genius because people are very nervous about investing right now, but that makes you laugh.
Absolutely. You can't beat babies.
Yeah.
Babies, animals, old people like the Snickers. They had Betty White and Abe Vigoda. That was a brilliant campaign, too.
We've run out of time, but thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
You've heard the expert's opinion. Go to our website, KMOV.com, and give us your opinion. You can vote on your favorites from the Super Bowl.
All right, let's throw it back to Doug Vaughn.
All right.